and welcome back to Ghoulin Around. We're going to continue our monster talk, and this time we're going to talk about werewolf movies and which ones we've seen, which ones are our favorites, which ones are not our favorites. And joining me is...
Jason Massey.
Loretta Mooney.
And I'm Joanne, as usual.
Yeah. It's your friendly neighborhood ghoul.
Yeah. I think all of our favorite is the exact same one.
That we've talked about multiple times on multiple episodes.
So, American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Best werewolf movie out there, yeah. That's the best one ever.
For me, it's like whenever I look at werewolf movies now, I judge them using American Werewolf in London as like a bench line. Like, is it this good? Is it this good looking? But
is it funny?
Is it funny? Yeah, that was like the best part.
That was the best part. There was a lot of comedy in that one.
My favorite scene was when he wakes up in the zoo naked.
Yeah.
And he steals the kids' balloons.
The balloons.
So ridiculous.
And then he steals that girly coat and he's running around in the coat.
Yeah, that one is... I know it's an older movie, but...
It's just so well done for its time.
Yes. And, you know...
It holds up.
It absolutely holds up. It's like the best werewolf movie out there.
Mm.
And it didn't have all the CGI and everything like that.
Yeah, a lot of its effects were all practical.
Yeah, and they did an awesome job with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the werewolf itself didn't look too good, but they didn't show very much of it.
Yeah.
Which played to their advantage because then, like, the entire movie you're not sitting there like, oh, this werewolf looks terrible.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it was the first movie to show the transformation. So
the actual
that was
transformation as it was happening. Because, like, the older movies, they would just have a shot on the guy or the girl. And then the next shot would be, it would pan over somewhere and then shoot back and then it already be transformed.
Yeah. You didn't, like, watch it step by step. And then with this one, you realize, like, how painful that
bones
is.
Cracking,
yeah, they did a great job with it.
Yeah, and then the undead people.
Yeah.
The ghosts that kept haunting him.
Well, they weren't ghosts. They said they weren't ghosts. They were undead.
Yeah.
And they were trying to, like, get him to kill himself and giving him different ways of how to kill himself.
I love the theater scene where they just, like, are all debating which ways he can kill himself.
That was great.
Yeah, them all in the theater.
Yeah. I loved Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His friend was great.
Yep.
So, I know we've talked about this movie a lot.
And we continue to still do so.
Yeah, we still continue to do so. So, a couple of werewolf movies that I have seen, obviously they don't hold up as well as this one, but I've seen the Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman in it.
Yeah, but that was more, that wasn't just like a total werewolf movie. I mean, that was kind of, it had werewolves in it, but I think that branched out with all different types of creatures.
That's like
it's like Underworld.
Does the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, Underworld basically is vampire and werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that one, and I really don't remember too much of it.
Underworld. There's just not a lot of
great.
Huge.
I loved the first Underworld.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched it.
I've never seen any of them. The werewolves for Underworld is the reason why I continued watching the Underworld series. It wasn't because of the vampires. It was the werewolves I was most interested in.
I've heard it's a good take on werewolves.
It is.
Yes.
It is a very good take on the werewolves. In that movie, though, they call themselves Lycan.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
But it's basically the same thing. But they just made them so big and badass that, I mean, you kind of root for the werewolves in that one. You don't really, vampires go, you know. It's like you kind of want the werewolves go after the vampires.
Yeah. Those were really good. I know I've seen Silver Bullet as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a Stephen King movie.
Stephen King movie.
And so it's been a long time since I saw that one, so I actually watched like a short little mini clip right before we did our filming today. And I didn't realize how horribly old and outdated
it is very old and outdated, but I think one of the things that I did like about that one a lot is you have Gary Busey as the uncle. And he's just so nonchalant funny in this movie. He's funny. I like him in this movie. I think that's what made the movie.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, and I really don't remember too much of it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I was watching the short clip, and I remember, like, the werewolf.
It's one of those
Person.
ones that's kind of predictable. You know, like
Yeah.
the first time I watched it, it's like, oh yeah, it's the priest. You know what I mean? Like in the first like 10 or 15 minutes or whenever the first time they show the priest.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's him.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that, like, they stand up for the werewolf. Like, it's like a stand-up person.
You like a bipedal one?
A bipedal? I've
Yeah.
never heard that term.
It's
I like it
true.
when they're on fours. All
Yeah.
fours. I don't like them when they stand up like humans.
Yes, you don't like bipedal werewolves.
Sure.
That's what it means to stand up on two legs. Like,
Okay.
we're bipedal mammals.
Okay. I think of a bike when
Everyone
I say
at
bipedal.
home knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly. Bicycle,
Okay.
bipedal.
Okay.
Bi means two.
I know what bi means.
Two-legged werewolf.
Math lessons with Jason Missy. Bi means two.
No, I like it when they're on all fours because it's more wolf type
Yeah.
character.
You want a
than
more.
human.
You want a wolf man, not a man wolf.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
That's the name of this episode. Is wolf man, not man wolf.
Not man wolf. Okay, we're totally naming it that. And then I know for a fact I've seen The Wolfman.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Bela Lugosi in it.
Yeah.
I
I
never
probably saw
watched
that
the
when.
original.
You never watched the original? Yeah.
No, not the 1940s one.
Yeah, we watched. I'm sure I watched it when Pat was around. 'Cause
Yeah.
He watched all that stuff.
Yeah, the older movies.
So, I love that. I love Bela Lugosi in anything.
I know. He's kind of quirky.
Didn't it have Cheney in it too?
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't Bela Lugosi that was the... Actually, I don't even know if Bela Lugosi was in that one.
Yeah, he was.
Was he? But he wasn't the werewolf. It was,
No, I think it was Cheney was
yeah,
the
it was
werewolf.
Cheney that was the werewolf. Bela Lugosi was Dracula.
Yes. But in a different movie.
Yes,
I was
in a
like,
different
it's not
movie.
the same movie.
No, in a different movie. He was Dracula.
Yeah.
In
But he
the
still
old-
played in that one.
Okay.
The Wolfman.
But it was Cheney that was the actual Wolfman.
Yes, I believe so. Awesome
Yeah.
movies. For
I-
those who have, don't really care for the black and white old type movies, but if you do, The Wolfman is a really good one to watch.
Yeah, it is.
Bela Lugosi and Cheney are both really huge actors, especially for like the monster genre.
Yeah. That's pretty much all Cheney did, I think. I don't think I ever... He might have had some out there that weren't like monster movies, but I don't think I've ever seen him in anything that wasn't a monster movie.
Yeah. He's lost. He
I have
doesn't
no
know
idea.
Yeah.
what that
He
is.
has
Like,
no idea.
She was literally talking to me about this earlier, and she mentioned like, "Oh, the Wolfman, with Bela Lugosi." I'm like, "The fuck's Bela Lugosi?"
Oh, Bela Lugosi. Yeah, he needs to know who Bela Lugosi is.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
get you to watch my old movies sometime.
One day.
One
You
day.
need to watch at least a movie with Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney, Peter
Vincent
Lorre,
Price.
Vincent Price. I mean, they were like pretty much the face of horror movies back in the day. All of them.
I know who Vincent Price is,
Better.
obviously.
Kick your butt.
What other werewolf movies have you seen?
Dude.
Not Twilight.
Sadly, I have seen Twilight, but every time I watched one of them was against my will.
Yeah, your mom
I was
is.
hogtied.
Your mom loves those movies.
Fucking don't know why. They're terrible. They're so bad. Like, I always gave it shit before I saw it, and I saw it, and I'm like, wow, they're just as bad as I thought. They're so terrible. I hate those movies. But, in terms of werewolf movies, with The Wolfman, they did a remake. I looked it up earlier. 2010 was when they did the remake, and I've seen that one. has Benicio del Toro and Hugo Weaving, Anthony Hopkins, Emily Blunt.
Oh,
The
see,
first
I
two I
all
don't
those.
know. I know the last two.
I love
obviously.
Emily Blunt.
Anthony Hopkins, I know.
She's awesome.
Yeah, but they were all in it, and I remember watching that. Like, I didn't think I had seen it just based on the cast, and then I watched the trailer, and I was like, oh yeah, I watched that movie like years ago, just by accident. It was,
I don't think I watched it.
It was
I
very
don't
meh.
recognize it.
It looked
I
good.
probably, if I had known that it was Anthony Hopkins, I probably would have watched it because I like Anthony Hopkins.
The Wolfman,
Yeah.
I like the look of because I like my man wolves, which are my bipedal wolves.
You like the man wolves,
Yeah,
not
I
the
like the man wolves. But yeah, because in that movie, he stands up and he's like really bulk, like he's like a hairy Hulk, and it's terrifying. It looks good. Some of the effects don't really hold up because they did more CGI than they did practical,
Oh,
and
okay.
CGI, of course, doesn't really hold up that well over the years,
Yeah.
especially 2010 CGI. So yeah, that's the only one I've seen.
Well, you're not very skilled in this then.
No, I don't watch a lot of whole werewolf movies because they all look the same to me. Like
Yeah.
they look very
Yeah, but see,
predictable.
You don't watch a whole lot of werewolf movies. You haven't seen a whole lot of vampire movies. What else?
That's because neither
This is zombies. He likes his
Yeah.
zombies.
Yeah, that's
I've seen
true,
a lot of
okay.
zombie movies, but
Yeah.
in terms of like werewolves and vampires, it's like everything looks the same story to me. Where it's like, oh, guy gets
Yeah,
scratched,
but
he
it's
deals with it.
not. It's not.
Yeah,
We need to enlighten him on some of this stuff and get him to watch more stuff.
Oh no.
part of our set just tried to fall over.
I'll just hold it with my leg.
I saw that slowly going, and I was like,
I saw your eyes.
like, where's it going?
I saw your eyes. I was like, ooh, shit.
Yeah, we'll have to get him to watch Underworld. He'd
Yeah.
probably like those.
I know he'd
I mean, I liked the
Interview
Resident
with a
Evils,
Vampire.
even though how bad they got. And I feel like Underworld, I've always heard, is like on par or better than the Resident Evil movies.
I would have to say Underworld's probably better.
Yeah.
I like the first Resident Evil, and then after that, I was like, okay, this is not
I liked the first
holding up.
3.
No.
I liked up till 3, and then like 4 and after really lost me when they introduced Albert Wesker and
Well, like-
fucking Chris Redfield and then Leon S. Kennedy, and they ruined his character.
Yeah, I think after the second one, I was just kind of like, they didn't give me enough Nemesis.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for sure. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Now,
they needed way more
I
than
liked
that.
the second one because they had Nemesis in it.
Just not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot, but I mean the fight between them two were
Mhm.
really good. Was really good.
I love the games. The games are really fun.
But did you know that the Resident Evil 2, they're doing a remake of it? Like they're HDing it and all that for the current gaming generation. It comes out like next week.
Awesome. We'll have to play it.
Yeah.
We need to start actually like getting some of our gameplay.
Yeah,
on
I
site.
own right now I own Resident Evil 1, 4, 5, and 7. So when 2 comes out, I'll have 1, 2, and then 4, 5, 7. 7 was really good.
Okay. We'll have to work on that.
Yeah.
And I need to get you to watch Silver Bullet, The Wolfman. Silver Bullet's kind of
Mhm.
old, but
It's
Stephen
kind of
King.
yeah, it's old, but it's a little cheesy too. He actually might end up liking it.
Yeah, especially the first kill when the guy gets
Yeah.
hit in the face and his whole head comes off.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
It is kind of cheesy, but it's. I mean, for the time that it was done, it was
It has
done really good.
your bipedal werewolf.
Ooh, nice, my
Yeah.
man wolf.
It's your man wolf.
That'd be a shirt now. Is like man wolf or wolf man question mark.
Ad campaigns. I know me and you could talk about the second Dresden File book because that has werewolves in it. And they have
Yeah.
different types of werewolves.
Yeah, they do, which is
I
actually kind of cool.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they had like werewolves that use magic to shapeshift into werewolves, and they have shapeshifters, and they have like wizards that turn other people into werewolves.
Yeah.
What was the one he
um,
called it? Then they have like the belts. The belts that can turn people into werewolves.
The belts that are charmed that can actually turn them into a werewolf.
And then the ones that are actually cursed for every full moon.
Yeah, that one.
That was, I can't remember what he called them.
If you give me a few minutes, I might be able to remember it.
But yeah, they had different names for them and everything. I thought that was really cool. And different ways of killing them / slowing them down because they were all different types of werewolves.
Yeah.
Did they all, like, look different? Did they, like, describe them different?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Like, a lot of them, they're different, like, either in size or by the way their features. Some of their features are different. Obviously, the way they change and how they change is different.
I thought it was really neat.
Yeah, I liked it. That they had different types, and it's not all just, run out and eat somebody.
Yeah, because they were saying, like, a couple of the types, like, what was it? The ones that can turn themselves into werewolves using magic keep their sense of humanity.
Yes.
But over time, as they continue to change, they start to lose their humanity and start to go a little bit, like, blood crazy and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they've got the ones that were using the belts. As soon as they killed with the belts, it's like a high to them, so then they become addicted to it, and they continuously
and then they start to lose their
bloodlust.
humanity
That sounds
too.
really interesting.
It's really cool. It really is.
It is.
It was a really neat concept throughout the book of all these different werewolves he's dealing with.
Yeah.
Alright.
Guess you're gonna have to start reading.
Yeah. Start reading, start watching,
no.
all of it.
So
How many
that was
books
pretty
is
cool.
in the series? Like 16?
15.
Jesus.
15?
15, yeah.
I just started book 5 this morning.
I'm almost done with 2.
Well, listened to the first 4 twice, all the way through.
Alright.
Well, you just
I was just
you just
saying,
made
like,
a face.
why?
What was that?
You're like, I read the first 4 twice. I was like, why not just read the first 8 then?
Because we don't have all 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I only get like one book a month for credits, and then we have to like pay for the other ones.
So I have just started 5, and then we do have 6. I haven't read that one yet, but I did the first 4 and listened to them twice all the way through.
So
Because there's things you miss when you're listening to it and you're on the, driving around and somebody tries to cut you off and
Yeah, because usually if you're listening to a book, you're doing other stuff. You don't just sit down with your phone and be like, I'm just going to listen.
Yeah.
No,
So-
you're usually doing other stuff, so makes
Yeah,
sense.
so that's another reason why I listened to them twice, is because I knew there was stuff in there that I missed.
Like, I feel like if I re-listened to it, I would rehear a lot of, like, things that I don't remember hearing the first time.
Yeah. So.
We can talk about it too, because it had a werewolf in it.
For like 5 seconds.
Because Richie just got out of watching The Wolfman.
Really?
Yeah.
And he was scared. And so it shapeshifted into a werewolf.
Yeah.
Or the Wolfman.
It was a man-wolf.
It was a man wolf.
Because it was like the one with
It
like
was
the
a
Letterman
Pennywise
jacket
wolf.
and all that.
Yeah.
It was a Pennywise wolf.
Yeah.
Any other werewolves that you can think of?
Not from like movies that like I specifically remember, but I think we talked about it before in terms of TV shows, Being Human's version of a werewolf is
Oh,
really
yeah.
a really good
I
take
watched
on it.
that too, so.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that one?
It's a good show. It's 6 seasons long, and the last 2 episodes are shit
Yeah,
because they got
they were.
canceled, and so they're like, you have 2
Oh.
episodes to wrap up the entire season.
Yeah.
And ooey, it
Oh, you know what? I
But-
just thought of Penny Dreadful. I started watching that show, and it's got a werewolf in it, and they are badass. There's so the Penny Dreadful's like on Netflix, and it's this like the same stories that you would hear inside the Penny Dreadful like newspaper articles. So it talks about like werewolves and vampires and all that kind of stuff, but these are people who exist. And you go through the entire season 1 with, oh god, what is it, like ghosts and witches and stuff, but you don't really see like vampires or werewolves. And then at the very end of season 1, the very last episode, the main character you're following turns into a werewolf and kills like everybody in the bar. And I was like, oh! Season 2.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it was really good. He's very powerful.
Yeah.
So we got Penny Dreadful too. I didn't continue watching it. It's kind of boring.
I feel like there's more shows with werewolves than movies, at least in terms of like rememberable.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like movies nowadays are just like eh, but some TV shows with werewolves are really there. Like I know everyone goes crazy for Teen Wolf. I've never seen it.
I've never seen that either.
I have the original. The original movie, not the series or the remake. The original one was Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of that.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that one was a long time ago. But that I've seen that one.
But
I mean,
never
it
the
was
show.
it was okay, but I didn't really care for it.
I feel
too
like the
much.
main reason everyone watched it was because it was Michael J. Fox.
Yes. But at that time, yeah, he was really big, so it's like, oh, Michael J. Fox. Okay, we gotta go see it, you know.
It's not like, oh, it looks like an interesting werewolf movie. It's
Yeah,
like, no.
yeah, it's just the whole Michael J. Fox thing.
Is
That's
that it?
probably the only other one that's not on the list that I've seen.
I was going through the list of like, just like a Google search of like werewolf movies, and a lot of them I was just like, this does not look good at all. That's probably why I
Yeah.
have not seen it.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I can bring to mind that I've seen that has a werewolf in it is Harry Potter.
Yeah, with
Oh, yeah.
the werewolves and the animagus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lupin.
Lupin. He was my favorite.
I know.
He was my favorite professor.
He was so much better in the books than he was in
Oh,
the
yeah.
movies too.
He's
The
still
books
good
are
in the
just-
movies, though.
The books just make him out to be like even like 10 times better.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I love Lupin.
Yeah, he is my favorite.
I liked how I like the guy who played him. I don't know his name, but
He did
in
a
the
really
movie, he
good
did a
job.
really good job.
Yeah.
Like there was like when, so I had read the first 4 books back in like 4th grade, and then the movies came out, and then I had to go back and reread the 4 books in order to get to the other books. It had been like God knows
Yeah.
how long. And there was like, I seen the movies, so I knew what the people looked like, but there's some characters like in the books you're just like, that's not what I would picture them to be.
Yeah.
But Lupin was like spot on.
Yeah.
He really was. He was perfect.
Snape was too,
Yeah.
I think.
The biggest thing is like Harry.
Yeah.
Because, like, every freaking book always mentions, oh, you have your mother's eyes, you have your mother's green eyes, you have your mother's green eyes, constantly. And I was like, he does not have green eyes.
Yeah.
It's easy to put contacts into, you know, Daniel Radcliffe. Put the contacts in there, and you can have the green eyes.
Yeah.
That was the biggest one.
Although with the movies, everyone was bringing up that point, like when the series was like ending, like that was a main thing that people always griped about. And then towards the end of the movies, I don't know which one it was, but they showed a flashback with his mom
Yeah.
as a kid, and
Yeah.
his mom had the blue eyes
The
instead of
blue
green
eyes,
eyes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
no,
to like
it was,
keep it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
that I think was one of the Deathly Hollows.
Yeah, and
I think it was the.
I know they
first
did
one.
that to say that he
No, I
had.
think it was the last one because that's where he
Oh,
got
that's
the
when he-
tears
that's when
from
Snape
when
dies.
Snape dies. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the last one. It was the second
But
Deathly
in the
Hollows.
books, it says he's got green eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's quite a few differences, but I actually think they did a really good job. With,
Casting wise, he looked good. Just change his eyes
I
green as he
think
looks.
like Emma Stone
Yes.
when
As
she
Hermione.
when she was younger, she looked like her perfectly. But then like as Emma Stone actually aged, I didn't think that she looked like Hermione at all.
Oh.
Because her hair started staying flat, and you know how it was always in the books she had the really
With
frizzy
frizzy hair.
hair. And like when she was younger, she had really frizzy hair. But as she got older, it started like
Straight.
laying down. Yeah.
Well, that's what they were like in the books. It's like all 3 of them like had this unruly hair.
Yeah. Like, I think my favorite characters that you could take from the books and put into the movies that was like perfect? The twins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The twins
Oh,
were
yeah.
great.
Those the guys that they got to play
The
the twins
twins.
was
Oh my
oh my
God.
god. Yeah. They were great. And I just recently listened to all of the Harry Potter books.
They're great in the books.
I know.
They're smart mouths, man.
I know.
You need to read more.
I read the first 3. Yes, I read the first 3 and then stopped at 4.
You need to read more.
Yeah, I know.
So now this has turned into a Harry Potter podcast.
Yeah.
I
Back
just
to
wanted
werewolves.
to mention. Yeah, I just wanted to
It's all
mention
about
the
werewolves.
werewolf because he was my favorite, and that's
Yeah.
probably the only other thing I've ever really. But you see, it's not a werewolf movie.
See, I think like the most memorable like werewolf things for us was probably when they put him into other things, but not made it like a werewolf themed
Yeah.
thing.
Hold on.
That makes sense.
I think I'm pretty sure there was a werewolf in the League of Extraordinary
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that movie sucked.
that movie was horrible.
I watched it because it had Sean Connery in it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Mm. No, there is one.
It sucked.
Yeah, it was not a good movie.
Not a good movie at all.
That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else that's had
Werewolves are
werewolf in it.
definitely better when they're put into something else and mixed together.
Mixed with
rather
stuff
than focusing on it.
Yeah.
Because with werewolves, there's not a lot of not a whole lot of stuff to focus on unless you're a really good movie. Like, because most movies, when they try to do that, it's like, you can't, like, all movies can't be a werewolf in London where they just magically get it.
Yeah, the American Werewolf in London was so great because you didn't really see too much of him being the werewolf, but you had,
Yeah.
like, the whole thing, like, coming up to it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And him just, like, you know, I love the part where he thinks he's a werewolf and he keeps turning around in the mirror, like, "Arr!" And he's not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you had, like, the comedy and the waiting and the anticipation for it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Whereas, like, other werewolf movies, you see the werewolves throughout the entire movie, and
Yeah.
by the end, you're like, okay, I'm done seeing this.
Yeah, it's not too, like, surprising anymore. It's not like, werewolf, like, you're just like, werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like how, did you ever watch Jurassic World?
The first one, right?
Yeah, with Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, in that movie, they, like, describe, like, oh, no one's entranced by dinosaurs anymore, because in that movie, they'd have been on the park for, like, years.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, now you gotta splice new dinosaurs. It's like, I feel like the same could be said for, like, werewolf movies, where as you watch it, you just lose all shock value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of how, like, me and you are with, like, the whole paranormal crap.
Yeah. It's like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's... The problem with this is, like, we're living, you know, almost in 2020 now,
Yeah.
2019, you know, we're getting there, and werewolf movies and stuff been coming out since
40s.
probably earlier than that. They
Mhm.
probably had some in the 20s or stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, back then, yeah, it was shocking and it was amazing. Now
Yeah.
we've seen it all.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what we were talking about the last time that we recorded was, you know, I mean, you guys, it's all been done, you know, and,
Mhm.
you know, what you guys see nowadays versus back then, it was like, oh, this was a whole new concept. Well, it's not a whole new concept for you guys.
Yeah.
It's like nowadays you see movies with original monsters doing better than like another werewolf movie or vampire movie.
Yeah.
It's like if you create an original monster, people are more interested because they haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, it's a
Exactly.
werewolf that I've seen 30 million times.
Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you got Predator, you've got, well, Alien was a little bit back then, but still, I mean, that's kind of a different type of creature.
Yeah.
The Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more of,
Filmmakers just come up with new monsters.
there you go.
Just do it. That easy.
Creativity. Practical effects.
Creativity.
Bring back practical effects.
Yeah, especially if they're well done.
Yeah.
Or at least done enough, they hold up years later. Like, you look at American Werewolf in London, and sure, like, it may seem a little dated in terms of practical effects, but they still look really
Yeah.
great.
It's still really cool to see what people can do with the creativity with the practical effects rather than just
Yeah.
putting in code into a computer and
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
whatever you want.
And you can make anything you want. You know, it's a little
Yeah.
harder to make anything you want when you're doing it with, oh, let's see what we can do with this. Let's see what we can do.
Plus,
with
it's more
this.
interesting of like a behind the scenes thing because it's like, oh, I wonder how they did that. Where like they
Yeah.
made like the practical effect of like an elongated jaw using like all this rubber and whatnot. It's like, ooh, that's more interesting than watching a guy drag someone's face on a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
So I think that's all we have to say about werewolves this time.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about mummies next time.
Yeah, mummies.
Okay.
So I think we're going to have a week break where we're just going to do a little bit of reviews from the John Carpenter series, and then we'll come back with our mummies.
Yeah, so intermittently now we'll start putting out
Yeah.
reviews in the John Carpenter series. So yeah, just expect those every so often and whatnot.
Yeah, just randomly. We're not going to like have a set schedule on that like we're doing these every Friday. We'll just kind of put them out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think next week we're going to have a little bit of break. We'll just
Yeah.
do reviews.
Okay.
Yeah, next Friday we'll probably upload the part 1 of John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Just us talking about what was the first movie in John Carpenter?
Dark Star.
Dark Star. Yes,
Yes. We'll talk about Dark Star.
that movie was great. So yeah, stick around for when we review that. And, yeah. Click the links below, like, subscribe, yada yada. Ring the bell. And yeah, keep going.